Hey guys, welcome back to Auto Decode. So today we are going to discuss about the gearbox of an electric vehicle. An electric vehicle has a gearbox, we all know that. But we don't need to change the gears in an electric vehicle, neither they change automatically. So today we will discuss why an electric vehicle requires only single gear unlike the IC engine car which requires multiple gears. At the end of this video, I'll be analyzing the two most discussed electric vehicles of today, that is the Tesla Model S P100D and the beast itself, the Tesla Roadster. So stay tuned. In the first part of this video that I have already posted, I have explained why an IC engine car requires multiple gears. If you haven't watched it, head over to it right now. You'll find the link up here so that you'll get a clear scenario of an IC engine car and an electric vehicle together. Before we start, if you don't know what gears are, then head over to the video that I have earlier posted. You'll find the link up here. This will help you understand the concept even better. You need to know what gears are, why they are used for. So let's start with understanding why an electric vehicle has just a single gear. In order to understand that, we need to understand two basic fundamentals again as we understood for the IC engine. So first, let us understand what the motor can give us. What are the torque characteristics or power characteristics of the motor? What can the motor provide us with? So this graph here shows the plot of RPM against torque and power. X-axis is the RPM and Y-axis is the torque and power. The red curve shows the torque curve and the green curve shows the power curve. So from this graph we can see that the electric motor gives maximum torque that is peak torque right from the start, that is right from 0 RPM. So the torque curve starts at peak, that is the maximum torque. The region throughout which the torque is maximum and constant is called as the constant torque region. So initially there is peak torque that motor gives us, which sustains for a certain duration till certain RPM, which is the constant torque region, and then it starts to fall off slightly. An electric motor can provide maximum torque right from the start because there is no back EMF induced at lower RPMs. Back EMF is the EMF which opposes the torque and hence reduces the torque. I won't be going into the details of this concept now. For the time being, let us understand this as the torque is maximum initially because there is no back EMF. Similarly, for power, initially power is 0 as RPM is 0 obviously. As RPM goes on increasing, the power gradually starts to increase till a point where it reaches the maximum. So the point where maximum torque ends and maximum power starts is the same. As the maximum power is reached, the torque goes on decreasing as the RPM increases. Because power is constant, RPM increases, so torque goes on decreasing. So power curve starts with 0, increases, reaches the maximum power and then is fairly constant. This constant band of power is called as the constant power region. So now here what you can see is torque falls off till a value where the motor reaches its maximum RPM. A very important point to be noted is that an electric motor can reach very high RPMs, sometimes about 18,000 RPM as well, or also above that around 20,000 RPM as well. So electric motors can sustain and can reach such high values, which is very advantageous. So this is the curve of motor, what motor can give us. Peak torque initially right from start, right from stall, and then goes on decreasing after a certain point. Now let us understand what the car requires to be done, what the car expects the motor to do. So this is a plot of vehicle speed on the x-axis against the wheel traction force on the y-axis. Traction force is simply the force required by the wheel to propel the vehicle. Traction force multiplied by the wheel radius is nothing but the wheel torque. So this plot is called as the traction hyperbola, as we have already seen in the IC engine video. This traction hyperbola states that at minimum RPM or at 0 RPM, that is at the start, we need maximum torque which is required to overcome the inertia of the vehicle as it is at rest. So we need maximum torque initially at 0 RPM at start. then the torque required or traction force required goes on decreasing a bit till a point where you reach maximum speed. So this maximum traction force is limited by the friction. If the traction force exceeds this part, then the wheels will slip, leading to the vehicle not being propelled, and the maximum speed is limited by the point above which vehicle cannot increase its speed due to the road forces and the aerodynamic forces. So this is what the traction hyperbola is. We need maximum traction force, that is maximum torque initially, to move the vehicle from inertia, and then the demand goes on decreasing as the vehicle speed increases. Studying these two graphs, you can see one thing which is pretty similar between them. The nature of these two graphs is pretty similar. The torque is peak initially, maximum initially at 0 RPM at start. The torque is maximum at start in both the cases, and then it falls off gradually. So looking at the nature of the torque curve of the motor, we can judge that this nature can satisfy the nature of the traction curve that we need. But the torque that motor can give is not equal to the torque required to propel the vehicle. We need much higher torque than what the motor can give us to move the vehicle, to propel the vehicle. But on the positive side, on the other hand, the positive part is that the RPM that a motor can give us is very, very high, that is 18,000 RPM. Whereas for maximum speed of the vehicle, we don't require RPM, wheel RPM higher than say 2000 RPM. 2000 is a very high RPM leading to very high speeds. So we don't need to go above 2000 RPM maximum. So what we can conclude is that the torque that motor gives us needs to be increased in order to meet the torque demand, and the RPM that motor has needs to be decreased in order to meet the speed demand. From here, we can conclude that we can use a gear pair that can increase the torque and reduce the RPM of the motor to be given to the wheels. So this is the case of gearing which we can use a gear train having gear ratio greater than 1. In this, the input gear is smaller, the output gear is bigger, which leads to lower RPM of the output gear as it has more teeth and the circumference is greater, thus it rotates slower. So the RPM at output reduces and the torque at output increases as the tangential force is multiplied by the greater radius. So this case of gearing being implemented with motor can easily suffice the need that we have. If we do this, put a single gear ratio with the motor which increases the torque and reduces the RPM, then we'll get a curve like this. The motor torque will be matched with the demand, and thus the RPM will fall off from 18,000 or 20,000 RPM to the RPM which the vehicle needs. So from this we can see that the motor with a single gear ratio can easily cover the complete traction hyperbola that we need to cover. That means a motor with a single gear which increases the torque and reduces the speed can easily run our vehicle in any scenario that we want. That's why an electric motor does not require multiple gears. Only a single gear can satisfy the need of driving cars in all the scenarios that we need. So summarizing this, there are three main reasons why an electric motor does not need multiple gears. First being maximum torque at 0 RPM, that is maximum torque at start, which is the need of the car to overcome the inertia. Thus the motor can give maximum torque which can be traced to the maximum required torque of the car. The second point being very high RPM range of the motor. So as we said, the motor can run at very high RPM, 18,000, 20,000 as well. The technology is so advanced that such high speed motors are available as traction motors, as motors for electric vehicles. So as the RPM range is so high, you can implement a gear which increases the torque and reduces the RPM to match the traction hyperbola and the demand of the car. And the third part being that the motor has a very broad power band. So the power band means constant power region. This constant power region for a motor is very broad as compared to an IC engine. Why is this significant? Because we need to run the vehicle in power band as much as possible, as the efficiency is maximum when power is maximum. So as the power band is bigger, we get greater zone to run the vehicle wherein the efficiency is maximum. So that's why a motor does not need multiple gears. Primary reason being torque, which is maximum at the start, for an IC engine which is very low at the start and cannot run the vehicle or overcome the inertia of the vehicle at that stage. Then maximum RPM, which can be easily reduced while multiplying the torque to match the vehicle demand, and a broad power band. So now you know why an electric vehicle has just a single gear and not multiple gears. So let us now start with the passenger car, the Tesla Model S P100D, which is the maximum performance model of the Model S. So here you can see the drivetrain layout of the Tesla Model S P100D. So the Tesla Model S P100D is a two-motor all-wheel drive vehicle. One motor drives the front axle and another motor drives the rear axle. Both have a gearbox of their own. So the front motor is the smaller motor of 259 horsepower, that is around 193 kilowatt. It reaches maximum of 18,200 RPM and has a peak torque of about 330 Newton meters. The gearbox that it has a single gear ratio of 9.34. At the rear, there is a bigger motor used, which is of about 503 horsepower, that is about 375 kilowatt. The speed limit of this large motor is about 18,700 RPM and it gives a peak torque of about 660 Newton meters, and the gearbox that it has a gear ratio of 9.73. First we'll look at how it achieves the speed that is claimed, and then we'll look at how it achieves the high torque that gives it such a tremendous amount of acceleration. So starting with the speed, the top speed that Tesla claims is about 155 miles per hour, which is 249 kilometers per hour. Converted into meters per second, we get 69.17 meters per second. The front tire dia is 27.7 inches. Why I have considered the front tire is because at maximum speed, the Tesla Model S uses only the front motor to drive the vehicle. So we are considering only the front gear ratio and the front tire dia. So the front tire dia is 27.7 inches, that is 0.704 meters. So the front tire circumference comes to be 2.209 meters, simply multiplying the diameter by pi. So now we have the circumference and we have the desired speed of 69.17 meters per second. So to find out the rotational speed of the wheels, we simply divide this speed by the circumference. So the wheel speed comes to be 31.31 RPS, rotations per second, which is equal to, multiplying by 60, simply 1878 RPM. So this 1878 RPM is present at the wheels. So in order to calculate the RPM at the motor, we simply need to multiply it by the front gear ratio, which is 9.34, which we have already seen. So the motor speed will come out to be 1878 into 9.34, which is the gear ratio, that is 17,540 RPM. The speed of 155 miles per hour with single gear ratio has the motor RPM well within the limit of maximum RPM. That's how it achieves such a high speed with just the single gear ratio. So now that we have seen the speed characteristics, let us talk about the torque characteristics now. So for achieving maximum torque, that is initially at the start, the Tesla Model S P100D uses both the motors together. So the rear motor has a torque of 660 Newton meters, the rear motor, and the front motor has a torque of 330 Newton meters. The rear axle gear ratio is 9.73. So the rear axle torque we can get simply by multiplying 660 by 9.73, that is 6421 Newton meters. and the front axle torque is the front motor torque 330 Newton meters multiplied by the front gear ratio, which is 9.34, which comes out to be 3082 Newton meters. So the total torque available is somewhere around 9500, simply adding the rear axle and front axle torque. So the total torque available is 9503, which is a huge amount of torque at wheels. This torque makes it possible to reach such a huge acceleration of 0 to 60 miles per hour, that is 0 to around 97 kilometers per hour in just 2.3 seconds. One thing to notice and keep in mind that these values are calculated values without considering the efficiency of the motor, of the gearbox, of the complete drivetrain. So the actual total torque value is pretty much less than this, obviously because of the efficiencies and the losses, but theoretically is somewhere around 9503 Newton meters. So just using a single gear ratio of 9.34 at the front and 9.73 at the rear, the Tesla model S P100D can easily achieve 155 miles per hour speed and 9503 Newton meters of wheel torque to get such an high acceleration of 2.3 seconds. So that's how P100D can easily work with a single gear ratio. So this is the drivetrain layout of Tesla Roadster that you can see. Tesla Roadster is a 3-motor all-wheel drive vehicle. 2 motors are used at the rear, one driving each of the rear wheels, and a single motor at the front drives both the front wheels. So actually there are no strong mentions of the exact powers of the motor, exact details of the motors of the Tesla Roadster, but multiple sources say that all the 3 motors are 503 HP, that is 375 kilowatt motors with a RPM limit of 18,700 RPM and 660 Newton meter peak torque. At the front axle, the single motor drives both the front wheels with a gear ratio of 5.8. This gear ratio is also what I have derived. We'll look at it how this gear ratio came out. And at the rear, the individual rear motors drive individually both the rear wheels with a gear ratio of about 6.1. So these two gear ratios are calculated gear ratios that I have derived from the RPM calculations. We will look at it right now. For the Tesla Roadster, there is no data regarding the gear ratios of the front gearbox and the rear gearbox. So for this, we'll do one thing, we'll do reverse engineering based on the speed claim. So first, using the claimed speed, we will find the gear ratios of the front gearbox and the rear gearbox, and then we will see using these gear ratios if the claimed torque is achievable. So let's start with the front gearbox first for the speed claim. So the Tesla claims 250 miles per hour speed, so which is 402 kilometers per hour, which is also equal to 111.67 meters per second. The tire diameter of the front tire is 27.3 inches. Front tire because we are finding the front gear ratio first. So the front tire dia is 27.3 inches, which is 0.693 meters. So now we have the dia, we can find the circumference simply by multiplying by pi. So the front tire circumference comes out to be 2.18 meters. So now we have the front tire circumference and we have the speed in meters per second, the linear speed. So we can easily find the rotational speed simply by dividing the linear speed by the circumference. So the wheel rotational speed comes out to be 51 RPS. Multiply this by 60, we get 3073 rotations per minute. Now we have the wheel speed. For the motor, we know that the maximum speed is 18,700 RPM. We will consider that top speed, the motor will be running at about 96 to 97% of the maximum speed, that is 96 to 97% of 18,700, which comes out to be somewhere around 18,000. So for finding the gear ratio, we will simply divide the maximum speed of motor with the maximum wheel speed. 18,000 by 3073, which comes out to be 5.8. So the front gearbox ratio is 5.8 according to our calculations. We can do all such similar calculations for the rear gearbox as well for finding the rear gearbox ratio. So after doing such similar calculations for the rear gearbox, the ratio of the rear gearbox comes out to be 6.1. So according to the speed calculations, we have the front gearbox ratio of 5.8 and rear gearbox ratio of 6.1. Let us see if these two ratios, single gear ratios for the front and rear, are able to give us the 10,000 Newton meter torque claim that Tesla Roadster has. So let us move on to the torque stats. The motor torque for front and rear both motor is 660 Newton meters. The rear axle torque is simply 660 Newton meter motor torque into rear gearbox ratio 6.1 into 2. This 2 is here because the rear axle has two motors separately driving both the rear wheels. So the torque is multiplied by 2 as there are two motors. So the rear axle torque comes out to be 8052 Newton meters. Similarly, for the front axle torque is 660 Newton meters motor torque into 5.8 the front gearbox ratio. Here only once because only one motor is there, which comes out to be 3828 Newton meters. So the total torque, simply addition of front and rear axle torques, is 11,880 Newton meters, which is more than the 10,000 Newton meter claim. Obviously, because this is a theoretical value, we haven't considered efficiencies, we haven't considered losses. There are numerous efficiencies and losses in the driveline, in the motor, and all the complete overall drivetrain. So the value of total torque says that the 10,000 Newton meter claim is possible using only single gear ratios and satisfying the 250 miles per hour speed claim. This huge torque amount and huge speed amount can be achieved with a single gear ratio. That is what we conclude by analyzing the Tesla Roadster as well. So now you know how electric vehicles manage to pull off wonders with just a single gear ratio. I hope you have liked this video. See you soon with the next video. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe and hit the bell icon. Till then, see you soon and keep learning and keep teaching. Thank you.